Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to talk a bit about Season 6. We have it now, we have a bunch of the stuff now that has come out with Season 6. The new hero Illari, the new story missions, the new mode in Flashpoint. And so today I just want to talk a bit about my impressions of it after a week. I put a video out last week talking about Illari and her abilities and going over that. So if you didn't see that, I'll link to it in the description. You can check it out there. I also wanted to kind of provide updates based on a video I made a couple months ago where I talked about the news when Season 6 had been kind of announced as having some changes, and when they announced the dropping of the hero missions. I kind of wanted to talk about how I feel like the game is without it, and now that we're actually here at this much anticipated time period of Season 6, do I feel like the hype was adequate for what they actually added to the game and all that type of stuff. So this video could get a little long, we'll see as we go, but, you know, I haven't been uploading much lately, so it might be a little extra long one today. So, let's start with the big thing that Season 6 added, which is the story missions. Those are, of course, the biggest new thing that came into the game in Season 6. And I, honestly, just outright love them. I have had so much fun playing them. I think my favorite is probably the Toronto mission, though I think the Gothenburg mission is also pretty good. I think it's interesting to kind of see how all the missions differ, because obviously the first mission kind of feels like a prologue. You know, it's kind of like a secondary prologue following the initial prologue, which was the whatever the announcement short was for Overwatch 2, the Paris short, where they all show up and they save Paris. It feels like kind of like a secondary prologue that kind of serves to bring Lucio into the fold while also bringing you kind of up to date with what's happening. Obviously, it was the level that they had at BlizzCon back in 2019, so it's been around. We've had it for a while, so it definitely feels kind of like it. But then, of course, at the very end of the mission is when the rest of the new Overwatch team shows up. Cassidy returns, Pharah and Diva and Batiste and Zarya all show up. And so you bring together the kind of current Overwatch team, and then you go into your next mission where you play as whoever you want from that group and not the kind of selective group that you had in the first mission. So I really liked kind of the progression of the story. I thought it was very interesting. I loved the cliffhanger at the end of the third mission. We know where it's going to go based on some stuff we got last year, or one of the BlizzCons. Maybe it was BlizzCon Online, was it 2021 that we got BlizzCon Online? So we saw some stuff. We know Genji is going to kind of show up, and we're going to kind of fight against Talon in, I think, in Suravasa, in India somewhere. That was kind of where they mentioned it was. So we're going to get to at least see some of the kind of stuff there. We're going to see kind of how Zenyatta ties into the fold, but I really do think the levels are very, very fun, and the missions are really fun. I love the story. I love just like the features that it has, all of the stuff like, you know, like the lore codex stuff that they kind of had mentioned we were going to get. I love it. I think it's really, really good. I think it's really cool. It's really fun to get to kind of get insight into the characters, learn about the heroes and why they do the things they do or how they feel about these missions, kind of get the different things you get from them. I think one of, you know, like, and they're different, right? So one of them for Tracer is her talking to Emily, whereas some of them are like Brig, where she writes poems and stuff like that. So every character has different things, and you learn different things depending on which hero you play as in the mission. And I think that's really, really cool. I think that provides a lot of replayability that, for me at least, is interesting, right? It gives me a reason to play as all the different heroes, because you will get more information about the heroes and their stories and their thoughts and their feelings, stuff like that. And as we add more missions, that will continue to expand and expand, and you'll get more ability more often to kind of check a bunch of different things out, a bunch of different heroes, and kind of really get into their headspace, which I think is really, really cool. So for me, I think story missions are phenomenal. I really like them. I love where we're going with them. The cinematics are great. I think the writing is really great. Just getting those interactions between heroes is always really, really fun. You get them in game when you're playing, you know, regular competitive modes, but they don't feel as exciting or as kind of lighthearted and fun as they do in the story missions. You get them more so at the beginning of the levels, and sometimes when you kill, you know, an enemy hero, you might get one. Like, I know it may have been in this season they added the one where if Tracer kills a Tracer, she might go, I'm already Tracer, which is obviously hilarious. So there's a lot of things I think are really nice with the story mission, just getting those interactions and that fun kind of banter. In Retribution, obviously the old Archives mission, the Rialto one, there was really good banter there. I loved the Blackwatch banter, Moira's banter. She was just so dry and just so sarcastic with everybody. Genji just like never spoke, and when he did, he was basically like, shut up, stuff like that. So I really do think that that part of the game is really, really good. I think that the writing, the characters, and the world building that we're getting through these story missions is phenomenal, and I'm very happy that we've gotten so far. You know, obviously the big thing that people are going to say and mention is the pricing and whether or not it's worth it. I got the $40 bundle. I got the Ultimate bundle. I have zero regrets about buying it. I mean, like $40 to me, I mean, I can spend $40. So I get it. I get the tokens for future battle passes. I get some cool stuff. I get the battle pass itself. I get the missions. I get a whole bunch of cool stuff with that. I got 20 tiers in the battle pass, which was, I mean, that's pretty nice. So, like, I can't complain about the value. I think the value is pretty good. And then you think about just, to me, the replayability of those story missions, they are infinitely replayable for me because I do really like having the opportunity to sit down and go, you know what, I don't really feel like playing, you know, the same kind of competitive modes over and over again. I kind of want to just play some PvE, play these missions again. I always loved it every time Archives came around and I could play through those missions again. I love Retribution. It's my favorite one of all of them. And getting to play through those missions again was always really, really fun and really cool and really nice. So I'm glad with everything we got. I think that the additional features that you get for someone like me who enjoys that type of stuff is really, really good. Obviously, if you're a competitive focused player, you don't really care that much about story missions. You don't really care about the kind of the trying to, you know, set a high score or anything like that, or get through them on the legendary difficulty or whatever. If that's not your thing, that's not your thing, right? And that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think that the story missions themselves, to me, are the highlight of the game. I think they're the best part of this season. I think they're great. And I think the fact that we waited this long, obviously I would have liked them sooner, but I'm not disappointed with what we got. I'm very happy with it. I think that the decision to make sure that we got these as the only thing really, or the main thing in PvE, was the good thing. Like I said, hero missions to me was not that big of a deal. I don't really mind it getting removed. You also have Underworld, the King's Row mission, which is also pretty fun. I don't like it as much as the other story missions, but it's pretty fun. Obviously, there to kind of help provide PvE content for the players who don't buy Invasion. And it's got like the different challenge modes and the different kind of things. This week's, I know they added it where like missiles will fall down, and it's a pain to try to play through. We got missiles raining down all around you, and the heroes changed. So in the first one, you know, from last week, it was Tracer, Torb, Lucio, and Winston. Now you can play Diva or Rhine for tank. You can play, I think, Mercy or Brig for support. And then the damage, you had like Genji. I think Mei was one of them. I don't remember exactly what it was. But you had different options, which was really nice to kind of see diversity in the kind of heroes you can play in these types of missions. So instead of having it like it was in the past, where it was, you know, this mode, you know, you have the main 4 heroes that you can play in the regular version of it, and then when you get into like the other version, you just kind of pick anybody. This one's more, it's catered to certain skills. You're gonna have to challenge yourself by only being able to play this set of heroes, and I think that's really nice. So even Underworld's really good. I think it gives us a little bit of a tease, potentially the type of stuff we could see in the King's Row related story missions when we do get to that point. I'm a huge fan of Iggy, and so getting to see Iggy in the game is really cool. Seeing a comic character show up in the game is awesome. I think Iggy's one of my favorite comic characters. She's just so fun and cool, and just a punk rock Omnic is really cool. And I think getting to go to King's Row is always really nice. It's a beautiful map. It's such a good map. It's such a well-designed map, and it gives you some of the feelings of old school Uprising, but it is different and it feels unique, and getting to kind of go into that new area is very good, and it really does help expand the map, which is very, very nice. And so I think overall the PvE stuff, the story mission stuff, to me it's the highlight of the patch, and it's the highlight of Season 6, and I think it delivers. I think it really is phenomenal. I think it does not pull any punches. I think it really is as good as we kind of wanted it to be. I'm curious to see how they go going forward with how many missions we get in the future and what we can expect from them. I think a lot of the workload probably for designing these missions was the voice interactions and all these voice lines and the voice acting and the cinematics that are included. But They are incredible. Everything, but it is so well polished. I know there's a couple bugs on some of them. I think there's a bug on the Gothenburg one in particular, but I had so much fun playing these missions and enjoying these missions and going through these missions and just really kind of getting everything there was to kind of get out of it. And I think that they really are 100% worth the penny if you're interested in it, right? Maybe you don't want to spend the $40 on the bundle, maybe you just want to get the $15 bundle, but if you want my honest opinion, I think it is worth it. I was having discussions with people at something last weekend, and I was basically like, look, I really like it. I have a good time. To me, it is exactly what I wanted Overwatch 2 to be, which is I get the experience of getting the online play, and that is still free for anybody to play, but also the main stuff I really want, the stuff that I really am excited about and interested in and excited to dive into, is this PvE content and this story content and seeing how these characters' stories unfold, because to me, they are the heart and soul of Overwatch. They're why I got into the game in the first place. And so getting to actually explore it and expand upon it is really awesome to me. And so I'm very happy that we're getting to see that as we move forward. And I'm excited to see kind of where it goes from here. Like I said earlier, that season, or that end of the mission kind of tease was really, really good. I really liked it. And so I'm interested to see where it goes from there. Let's talk now about kind of the big other thing that happened, which of course was the introduction of the new hero, Illari. I made a whole video on her, so I'm not going to spend too long talking about her, but I do think she's fun. I've had a lot of fun playing as her. I've gotten a few games in on her. I basically queued one night. I just queued support and just kept locking Illari. Somehow no one else stole her from me, so I basically went like 10, 11 straight games of just playing Illari and just trying to kind of figure her out. I'm going to figure out how I feel about her as a hero, and I think she's really fun. I think she's really cool. I think she definitely needs some tweaks. I think the hitbox for her ultimate is massive, and I think that needs to be changed a bit. But I think that since I've kind of settled in on her and kind of gotten to see her more in use and seeing how she plays more, I think she's in an interesting spot. I don't think she's too overpowered. I think she'll be fun to see in the Overwatch League. We'll see if she's a kind of insta-pick, insta-lock in the league. We'll see if she's hard meta. It's really hard to kind of tell at this point in time, but I think she is very fun. I think she's a really good hero, and I would definitely like to see more of her in the future and more of her as we go forward, because I do think she is one of the most fun heroes that has been added since Overwatch 2 launched. And I love Sojourn. I love Junker Queen. I love Kiriko. I love the first heroes. I love Ramatra a lot too. I really do think they've had a lot of heroes. She is such a fun hero. She's so just exciting to play. She's kind of what I like to get in heroes, which is heroes that provide a lot of utility for their team while also giving you a lot of individual agency. Supports are heroes that I feel like a lot of the time have quite a bit of problem with that, or at least they can. Like, to me, Lifeweaver, you're just a heal bot, really. Like, yeah, you can put down your tree, but for a long time it wasn't very good. It's really good now, but before Season 6 it wasn't very good. And you can try to shoot the enemy, but you don't really do a lot. It was really just kind of like you're just healing your team and you're maybe pulling them back, but there was kind of a give and take there that never always felt good. But Illari to me feels really fun to play. She's really exciting. She's really someone that you have to look out for when you play around her, but I don't think her ultimate's like super overpowered. I think there's definitely ways to counter it. It's very easy to kind of play into it and play around it in a way that she doesn't really oppress you or overpower you, which I think is really good and really nice to see with a hero such as this one. So I'm excited. I like where she is. I like where we're going with her. I'm really glad we're getting a South American hero for the first time since the game launched. Lucio's the only other South American hero in the game, which is kind of wild. Obviously, we've gotten, Batiste, who's from Haiti, and we've gotten Sombras from Mexico, but different cultures, different representation there. So I'm glad we're getting another actual South American hero for the first time in a while. I think it's good to continue to kind of grow the representation within the game and give us more heroes from more places around the world. I always think that's a really good thing, and I think that we're getting a lot more of that going forward. I think a lot of us expect Malga to be the next hero, and if that's the case, that's a Samoan hero. That's another good bit of representation there. So, like I said, I've talked about Illari already. I already have made a video on her, so I think you can hear more of my thoughts then. But generally speaking, I think she's in a good spot. I think she's going to be fun to play going forward, and I think she's going to be a really interesting hero as we move into the Overwatch League here in a week now. It'll be fun to see kind of where we are with her then. The other big addition, of course, is the new game mode and map type, which is Flashpoint. I'm a bit more mixed on Flashpoint. I think it's hard to really fully understand it yet. I don't think that there are really strongly developed metas yet. I have found that from my experience, it is best on Rush. If you play Rush maps, that's generally speaking the best map type I have found, or best composition type that I found. I mean, I had a game where we played, just Rhine Rush with May Reaper, and we absolutely just stomped them. I think collectively our team had 4 deaths. We dominated, we rolled them. And so I think that's the kind of composition that I've found works the best, but it will be interesting to see when we get to that pro play, kind of how rotations are done, where teams choose to fight, where teams choose to regroup, what types of things you can expect to see from there, because I think it's a very interesting mode. I think that it does provide a kind of unique way to play the game. It's very different from the previous iterations of maps. I think a lot of people expected it to be similar to like Assault in terms of some of its the feel of some of its points, because I think a lot of people expected when they were talking about adding a new mode, a lot of people I think thought they were going to try to rework a lot of the Assault maps into these maps, but they haven't. Maybe in the future, obviously, I know they've talked a bit about wanting to rework like Hanamura. They want to use some of the elements from Hanamura to make a new map, and I think this would be a perfectly fine map type for that. But it is very interesting to see how this map type is kind of different from the other ones. It's obviously most similar to Control. It's very kind of brawl heavy. It's very like close quarters fighting. It's not a ton of like about pushing a payload or attacking an objective, and then moving a payload after that. It's all about kind of anchoring and then rotating to a different point and then rotating to a different point. And I think it's a very interesting style of play that is very unique to what we've gotten in Overwatch, while still providing some level of familiarity in terms of its similarity to Control. So I'm very intrigued by how this mode develops. I don't think it's my favorite mode. I still think that I like Control a lot. I think I still like Control a little bit better than I do like Flashpoint, though I think Flashpoint is very good. I think it has definitely impressed me the more I've played it. I also, in that same vein, think that it is not a hybrid level map at this point, unfortunately. I think hybrid is still probably the best mode in Overwatch, but we're getting, I think, better and better as we kind of develop more things in the game. We see more game modes get introduced. I think we're going to just see the game improve from here on out. Obviously, I want more maps of this type, because it's, when you try to queue up into a game, you either have to play the arcade mode, which is terrible because no one tries and all the heroes are terrible, or you get one in quick play like once in a blue moon, but there's only 2 maps. So remember when they fixed that thing with push, where they were like, well, the way it works is that it pushes maps of different types more frequently, because there's only 3 push maps. Those maps show up more often, but now we're going to change it. Well, now I feel like I never get Flashpoint as a result of that. So whatever, it is what it is. But yeah, I think it's a good mode. I don't love it. It's not my favorite. I want to see more of it. I want to play more of it. I've honestly only played a single game of New Junk City, so I don't really have a lot of thoughts on it. I've played mostly Saravasa, so I really can't speak much on New Junk City, because even, like I said, even when I play the arcade mode, I've only gotten New Junk City once. So I don't really know much about that map, but some people I've talked to have said they think Saravasa is the better of the 2 maps. Take that as you will. Maybe you agree, maybe disagree, I don't know. But those are things that I've been told and heard kind of from conversations I've had with other players of the game. So all in all, I think it's a good mode, and we'll move on to the more broad overall kind of topic, which is the season itself, kind of what I think about the kind of the battle pass and the kind of additional things that kind of get added that don't fit into necessarily these specific categories. So those are the big things, of course, the PvE, ERE, and Flashpoint. But also, you've got a new battle pass. We have the new training range. I think is very cool. I like the new training range a lot. I like the changes they've made to it. The firing range is nice. Just having a better system there, I think, is better. Hero Mastery is coming. We don't have it yet, so that'll be something to see. The Battle Pass theme, it's interesting. I think it's probably my least favorite one so far. I don't really care that much about the Null Sector themed skins. I do love BAP's voice line of saying the real Null Sector is the space between your ears. That, very, very funny. Awesome thing there. But like I said, it's not a bad Battle Pass by any means. It's not my personal preference of a Battle Pass. I've also had the past 4 seasons were all my niche interests, or just my interests in general. So yeah, I'm okay with getting a Battle Pass. It doesn't really vibe with me 100%, and it's still got good stuff in it. It's not like there's nothing good in this Battle Pass. There's a lot of really cool things in this Battle Pass that I'm excited to get. Definitely not my favorite, though. The other thing is the hero progression system, or just the overall progression system, because it's kind of profile progression as well. I think it's decent. I like it as a means of actually giving you something to strive for and work towards with heroes in the game. Getting profiles, and I want to say there's like sprays, and there's player icons, that type of stuff. Nothing major. There might be skins tied to it. I don't think there are, but maybe in the future. That's something they can work on. But I like it because it lets you kind of work towards certain things, certain heroes, and it gives you that sense of like improvement and progression with heroes in general. And you can kind of see which heroes you... Obviously, in the past, it always had like the usage for heroes, right? But that only tells you so much, because how often you use a hero. You could have used a hero a lot just to try to learn it, and you're never very good at it, right? Well, your progression's probably not going to be as good. I mean, it'll be good if you play it a lot, but you might have a hero that you don't have a ton of playtime on, but your progression is massive because you're very good on the hero. You play the hero a lot in certain kinds of situations and high impact. Maybe every so often you play a game on that hero, but it's a really massive game. You play really, really well, but the hero you don't love to play, for example. But it kind of helps you show, like, no, this is a hero I'm actually very good at, even if I don't play them as much as I play this other hero that I'm trying to improve on, or something like that. Like, this is really kind of one of my bread and butter heroes that I want to show off that I actually am pretty accomplished in this hero. So I think it's a decent system. I don't think it's good or bad. I haven't noticed anything like in game of like looking at someone's profile and being like, wow, look at their progression. But it's so early on in the progression system that I don't really think that's going to be a thing for a while that people notice. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Like I said, I really like, generally speaking, what they have done in Season 6. I think a lot of Season 6 is very, very good. I think a lot of the bad reception is just people who enjoy being mad. All the Steam stuff doesn't matter to me. It's irrelevant. None of it matters at all. None of it's important. It's all just manufactured anger and outrage. People who don't have time on their hands to do anything else, but they want to complain about something because, I don't know, they are just sad and don't really have things going on in their lives. I don't know. There are things you can complain about that are valid and justified. I'm not saying you can't have criticism of the game. I am saying that if your thing is just, download TF2, it's better. You're not providing anything. You're not helping. You're not doing anything to improve the game or doing anything to try to suggest improvements on the game. You're just being a hater because it's fun. I've seen content creators get on this trend. People that I used to watch and follow that I have to just unfollow because I'm just watching them become the worst kind of people and just feeding into outrage for clicks and baiting people because they find it enjoyable. And I see stuff like that, and I'm just like, yeah, this is what we don't need as a scene. It's not an Overwatch exclusive problem, unfortunately. It's kind of a general fandom thing, but Overwatch right now is one of the things that is getting hit by it, and it's unfortunate to see because I think the game, generally speaking, is in a good spot. And this season, to me, genuinely is the best season so far. This is the best season of Overwatch 2 yet. Really fun new hero, fun new game mode, PvE missions are awesome. Every step of the way, it ticks a box here, a box there. It's great. It's awesome. I highly recommend, if you have not gotten it, yes, get it. Get some of that stuff. Play some of that new stuff, the free stuff. And then, maybe put the 15. Maybe just the $15 that you get towards the missions, and that's really good. It's not perfect. Nothing is. But I'm very happy with where it is at so far, and I'm excited to see where we go from here. And I'm excited to see kind of how everything improves with time. But that's really my thoughts on the season so far. Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on it, where you agree with me, where you disagree with me, anything like that. If you think I'm too much a shill, or if you think that I am relatively kind of hitting things in a way that you agree with, let me know from you. Like I said, I'm happy with it. I really like the game. I've been having a lot of fun. It's the most fun I've had with Overwatch in a while. Part of why I haven't really been uploading videos is because I come home from work at night and I go, I could record a video, or I could keep playing more Overwatch. And I play Overwatch. But today, here we go. You're getting something. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on the whole thing we got going on here with Season 6. What you like about it, what you dislike about it, things you think could be better, things you think were better than you expected, whatever it is, your full thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video and want more like it in the future, consider liking and subscribing. That's going to be all for me for today. Hope you're all staying safe and staying healthy. And until next time, bye-bye.